Hey everybody, welcome back to this awesome channel. Today we have an amazing return guest backed by popular demand. Faith finds fruit. I think she's lost over 140 pounds through a fruit diet. We're going to find out, is she still doing that? Is this possible long term? What is going on? And I think fruit, in her opinion, is just very healing. So we're going to find out what is going on, get some updates. This is going to be such a good one. Grab some fruit and let's hop into it. Hey Faith, how are you? You're looking younger than ever. How is this possible?
Hi, Gillian. Thank you for having me. And I love Gillian's family that she has on her page. Y'all are so welcoming. And I just love coming on here every single time. I feel like I'm a part of the family. So I'm very grateful and things are going amazingly well. I appreciate the compliment. You're always vibrating high and looking youthful as ever. Um, but I feel great. Energy's at an all-time high. I mean, I don't think there's ever a scaling down like in this lifestyle. It's just a constant up. Now it goes in waves if we hit like deeper detox and stuff, but it's a
Yeah.
constant rise. It's a
What a
constant rise.
transformation. Like you've had one of the biggest transformations I think I've ever seen. Like especially if I think of any, because I've interviewed some people who have massive transformations. And if I think of what the women that stand out, you are like at the top of the list. What a transformation. So for anybody who doesn't know, take us through and like, oh my gosh, I wonder where you'd be right now if you didn't adopt these habits. Like what health problems did you have before? And then how long have you been on fruit now?
Jillian, I don't think I would be alive right now, honestly. Um, if I'm being cutthroat, right? I was just in the worst state of mind in the past. It was bringing me down physically. I had horrible health anxiety. I had depression. I had a binge eating disorder. I had it all, right? Mentally, physically. I wasn't in the best environments. Um, and that really led me into this lifestyle, but it all happened very intuitively because I was going to these doctor's appointments and they kept getting canceled on me. And by the 10th canceled appointment, I was like, there has to be some higher guidance here that's leading me into something new. And I'm just not looking at it, for what it is. And so I took a step aside and I was like, listen, if there's something you're trying to show me, let me know because it seems like I'm trying too hard to control, these appointments or trying to get help through these doctors. And a few days later, you know how the algorithm works on our phones?
Hmm.
It was showing me like all about natural healing. I saw Yaki Awakened on there on my TikTok, and he was speaking about grapes. And so I just jumped right in. I was tired of feeling pain. I had no idea that in the process of removing pain of the body, it would shed, all of these traumas and all of these wounds that I was holding on emotionally, like too as well, right? And the process of losing the I guess the overload of waste, right? Because I don't like calling it weight. It happened so quickly that I look back and it's like a blur. I almost don't even remember like majority of the process because just imagine losing about 140 pounds in like less than half a year. You look in the mirror
That's
and you
crazy. Yeah. Like in that's such a short period of time to lose that much weight. You literally look like no people probably wouldn't even know you're the same person if they ran into you.
I've seen comments on your page as well, and even on my own, where people are like, oh, this isn't even the same person, you know? But luckily, I have some tangible proof with my tattoos on my body where you can see with my past photos and now that it's me. It's me, but the best version of me I could have ever stepped into, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm super grateful because I know it's not going to be placed in everyone's path to get into this lifestyle and to feel what I feel. And I know we're here recommending this lifestyle to so many people, but it's not in a culty sense, right? It's just we have been served with so much love from nature, right? And we just want to serve back. We want to repay people back. And so we're not trying to force anyone into this lifestyle, but we definitely want everyone to feel their best. We want people to love themselves. We want people to look youthful for the rest of their life. right? We're not
Yeah, you're
supposed.
looking more youthful. Like every time I see you, I'm just like, what? You just get better and better. And maybe that's what we should be doing, getting better and better all the time, right?
Yeah, and honestly, I haven't really spoken on this yet. I don't really feel the need to, but I've been intuitively just been drinking liquids majority of the time now. I don't know if I'm kind of upscaling into that liquidarian type lifestyle, but the more you clean out this body, it's like the less you need to
Hmm.
sustain yourself. When you remove all the blockages, all the mucoid plaque, all the parasites, right? You have this open vessel to be able to finally absorb all the minerals and all the nutrients to the highest of its ability, right? So I'm able to sustain on myself with so little like substance. And I'm rebuilding. Like I'm rebuilding on just fruits. I know people get worried about getting really small, right? And
Hmm.
malnourished. And I did get to that point. I got really small after my water fast. But the thing is, we're going to have to look malnourished a little bit if we have blockages. In order to get to that point where we remove the blockage, then we can finally bring in and absorb and be like this sponge. And then the body is like, okay, awesome. Now I can like take it all in for what it needs to be used for. And I feel I've hit that point in this body
And
because
do
I
yeah.
see my body and I'm like, wow, like how is this rebuilding?
Yeah,
I
what
got
was your weight before and what's your weight now?
like before I got on offers,
Yeah, like before everything.
my highest was 264.
Okay.
And it was such a heavy state to be in.
Yeah, so
Heavy.
I'm 130, so that's like double, I guess double what I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a whole extra body I was carrying around. And now I range between like the 120 mark to 130. So
Which
it's
is
a
a
healthy,
healthy weight. That's a great weight.
healthy weight. I think, are you like 5'7",
Five
around five?
seven.
Yeah, me too. Me
Mm-hmm.
too. And the beautiful thing about this lifestyle is it will naturally pull you back into your natural state of being, the most healthy weight for you. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not going to look the same for everyone, and it's all about learning the natural language that your body speaks to you and trusting it and getting out of that front seat, right? Trying to be in the driver's seat and controlling everything that's happening and realizing this body is separate from me. It's going to do what it needs to do. And so, like, who am I to get mad at it for, maybe gaining some weight because I want to look a certain way or my skin, right? Like showing some spots here and there because I'm healing. Like, these are liver spots. I don't know if you can see. I've had
Mm-hmm.
liver spots pop up as I've been healing, but they were there before I jumped into fruits. When you go into high detox, it may magnetize, a lot of symptoms in the
Mm-hmm.
body and then eventually they'll diminish. I've noticed they've started fading a bit, but I've had to learn to accept, what we may deem as flaws. It's not a flaw, and if anything, it's a beautiful mark to show me what I've transcended through, you know. It's like stretch marks too, like for pregnant women, they
Yeah,
get to see that beautiful experience they had, carrying a
true.
child.
Yeah.
And some women, right, very insecure about these stretch marks when it came from such a giving, beautiful experience. So it's all about perception and what we choose to think about ourselves,
Yeah.
right?
And what would you say has been like the biggest change in all of this from like changing your health?
My mental state.
Wow. And that's the
My,
most important thing, right?
I mean, it's the gut and brain connection, right? If your gut is a wreck, then how is your brain not going to be a wreck? We're thinking these negative thoughts because we have these parasites. We have these like entities hosting our bodies. It's literally creating a comfortable home inside of you. You move into your home and you're rearranging things and you want it to look perfect, exactly the way you want it to be, so you feel comfy and cozy. Everything's going to do that for themselves. So the parasites are going to do that inside of you. And so they're going to be telling you thoughts like, I want pizza. And you're going to go give it pizza. I want a drink right now. You're going to go give it a drink, like alcohol. And it makes me wonder in this life, we're all people pleasing in some way. Are we people pleasing to these parasites?
Hmm.
Right? We have to break these people pleasing patterns. It's not healthy for ourselves or anything outside of us. So we can't let these entities control the body. When are we going to put our foot down and say, I want to treat this body with love. I know what it deserves. I know what it's actually asking for. But again, you have to sit with yourself and really feel what your body is asking you for because we know the truth. I don't think anything outside of us really has to tell us. It's good to see other people's experiences, but how do we truly know until we experience it for ourselves? That's the highest truth,
Hmm.
you know?
And do you feel like more connected to God, more clear about things, like which path to take is easier? Does life feel like easier on this journey versus before?
Yeah, I'm no longer reaching for, things that need to happen in the future. I'm
Mm.
no longer focusing on what happened in the past. I'm truly just in a state of flow. Because the highest point you could reach with connecting to the divine, to source, is living presently. And that's what this lifestyle has taught me, to live here and now. And it's to gain a deeper trust into life, right? And to know that everything's always working out in our favor. Our purpose here is to love one another, it's to help one another, it's to care for one another. And then we walk around with these labels as if our purpose is, our career, our jobs, having a family, and these things are beautiful, but that's just what adds value to our life. Our purpose is literally just here to live and experience and to be healthy. Health is wealth, right?
Hmm.
And so, yeah. I also just want to say, I want us to stop looking at what we're like restricting and losing when we enter this lifestyle and start switching our mindset to what we are gaining, right? What are we gaining? We're gaining health, we're gaining vitality, we're gaining youthfulness, we're gaining peace, we're gaining joy, we're gaining meaningful connections. And the reason why we're gaining meaningful connections is because we're getting deeper into ourselves. So we're going to be deeper with people, right? What are we gaining when we're in the sad diet? We're
Hmm.
gaining,
Yeah, a bunch
we're,
of crap, right? A bunch of negative, toxic people in our life, toxic situations, a bunch of resistance, a bunch of crap inside us, and a bunch of crap happening outside of us, right? Like, I don't
yeah,
know what good the standard American diet does.
we're gaining poop,
Yeah.
literally, like figuratively,
That's why
and
people say, oh, she's full of crap. He's full of crap with things. Like, you're full of crap. Literally. That's what it is, right? They're literally full of crap. And it makes you act a certain way, makes you think different thoughts, it leads to a crappy life.
yeah, and figuratively, right. So you gain the depression, the anxiety, the brain fog, the inflammation, and then all that leads to disease.
I would have loved to see you before. I wish I had an interview with you before. You're probably like a totally different person, literally, right? Like even the way like like,
I
your mindset and stuff, I mean.
The thing is I wouldn't have even been here accepting to interview because I was so insecure and
Really?
anxious myself and not confident in myself. I wouldn't have believed, and I was a huge people pleaser, right? And so, and that was always a protective mechanism from childhood to stay safe, right? If you can make sure you're allowing the other person in front of you to feel safe, then you don't have to face like trying to make the situation more comfortable because you're showing up and you're conforming yourself for someone else's needs, right?
Mhm.
But how do you truly love yourself if you're not expressing yourself to the fullest of your ability, right? That's suppression. The opposite of suppressing yourself is expression. And so it doesn't matter anymore, like how I show up here, what I speak. Like I know that it all serves a purpose because I trust myself, I trust the divine, and I know that things are going to flow through me. And what's said, it needs to be said for someone, even if it's just one person, right?
Have there
So
been any people that are like, oh, I want the old faith back? And has there been anything that's been hard to let go of, like in the past versions of you, in the past, like people or life of you before all this?
I wouldn't say so because I love people so much deeper now. And I know they feel that. And it doesn't come with expectation for them to have to pour that back into me. I know the level of love I can give is because of the inner work I've done, because of this lifestyle, honestly. Um, and so, because a lot of people around us, they are on the sad diet, the level of love that they're at is what they know love to be, right?
Mhm.
So I don't expect them to feel love in the capacity that I do. But I know they appreciate it like fully. I don't think they would want the old faith back, but I feel the people that may have, they're no longer in my life, right? Why would I want someone who isn't encouraging and supporting me and being happy for me because I'm living in my highest joy?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I only want others around me to be in their highest joy. I mean, if they're overweight and they're in their highest joy, cool. I support everyone. I just want people to be happy. I just want this to be a world where we're all loving and caring for each other.
Mhm.
But I actually have reconnected with some family, like with my mom,
No
and I
way. Yeah,
and
because
I
last time we met with you, I think you guys were estranged for a while, right?
I hadn't talked to her in like a couple years. It had been no contact. I grew up in a really difficult, home, but with such deep healing in myself, I was able to separate needing or having this attachment that I needed this mother figure in my life. And I was able to finally just see her as another soul who's just having her human experience.
Mhm.
And I understand that she's gone through her fair share of traumas and hurt and pain. And I'm not saying that the acts that were done in the past were right, were just. However, I give her grace, I give her compassion, and I know she was doing the best with what she was given, right? We're all a byproduct, honestly, of what environment we grew up in. We take what we what we saw, what we learned, and we try to do better than that. But if you never had a good role model, a good example, you have to relearn all on your own, if you want to put in that work. But I finally reached out to her. And Gillian, it's insane. When we weren't talking, she had formed 3 huge cysts on the side of her breast, like leading to breast cancer. Let's be honest. In my opinion, that's already cancer. Like if you have a tumor, cyst, like a boil, it's all lymphatic backup. Cancer is a lymphatic trash bag, creating a bubble to keep you safe, right? She had 3 of them, right? And she received my guidance and they are now diminished. They are gone. She is healed. And I see how this journey, full circle moment, not only have I been able to heal this like family line, of negative, toxic cycles, I've been able to heal that within me, generational, abuse. I've also been able to heal the body, like the body and mind. And then I'm able to expand that to my own mother, you know? And there's been this cycle of the mother not speaking to the daughter and the daughter not speaking to the mother for generations. So now I see me as breaking this cycle. I see her as breaking that cycle. And now it's just this healthy connection with healthy boundaries, right? Boundaries are spoken on. Again, I don't people please anymore. And I have no more fear in the connection anymore because I'm so confident in myself. I know I can stick up for myself and I feel safe in this body for once in my life.
Wow, so
So
like safe because you have yourself essentially now. You're looking out for yourself, right?
we're our own savior,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I mean, I love receiving guidance and support from others, but who's actually going to put in the action? No one can except for you. It's all a choice. Everything is a choice. And I like to see life as one big offering. And we get to perceive these offerings as good or bad, right? We deem them, we label like, oh, I feel angry, that's bad, right? Who who told
Yeah.
us feeling? the multidimensional experiences of emotions were bad, right? Like it is just the human experience. If it wasn't natural, it wouldn't occur. What isn't natural is maybe how we react to these things, right? We got to learn to have healthy reactions. We got to learn how to put in practices to release, in a healthy manner. But life is just one big offering. So if life offers you a situation where you're angry, it's only serving you because it's giving you an opportunity to look deeper into yourself and to grow, right? But we may deem these experiences bad, but nothing is really good or bad until we say so.
Mm. And are
Mm.
you less reactive now on this lifestyle? And like, what advice do you have for somebody out there who feels reactive if something happens and they feel reactive? Like, because in this world we live in, it's easy to feel like burned by someone or let down, and then that might lead to some anger, or you feel like unjustly treated. So, any tips for when someone starts to get like, in their ego or angry or want to react? Because then that's where we can get into trouble, right?
Yeah, I think when someone approaches you and they're in their ego, right? I like to shed mine completely, remove it, to settle into the stillness of myself and realize that all people really need is a good example. People are not going to fight with you. They're not going to want to judge you if you are standing in your truth, if you are still showing them the love and the compassion with a pure heart, not sarcastically, but genuinely, right? And so I like to stand firm. You have to protect yourself in a way where you're not bypassing your emotions, right? But definitely stand firm in your truth. Stand firm in who you are. Love yourself enough to express your feelings, but in a non-harmful way. Like there doesn't have to be yelling. You don't have to criticize them. All you can do is speak on your experience. When you start pointing the finger,
Mm-hmm.
right, and you start speaking on their behalf, that is going to open up a gateway to like an argument, honestly, a back and forth that's never going to resolve.
Yeah, because anyone's going to get defensive then, right?
Exactly. So I
Yeah.
just settle into self. I just settle into my own experience. What are they going to do? They're going to start fighting with me on my experience. It doesn't make sense. They haven't lived it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, yeah, just strip away the ego and settle into self. Um, breathing, breathing is really important. Calming the your heart rate. So it's just really what I do, but I feel a lot of these things come naturally because of the lifestyle. It makes me slow to anger. It brings so much peace. I don't have the capacity, I don't have the energy inside me anymore to be fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not, we're not about to do that in this space. That's not what I create, right? We are, we receive what we are as well. And so I'm not about to receive, people coming at me like that. I'm not going to receive, eating horrible foods. I'm not going to receive letting bad thoughts go through my head. I mean, we're like our own Build-A-Bear workshop, and we get to choose what elements we place into our life, right?
Mm-hmm. And so your mom, like you reconciled with her, did she not see you since before? And then she saw you after a couple years, and now you're like this whole new person? Was she, because you guys have seen each other in person then, I guess, right? Was she like, oh my gosh? Or what?
That interaction was very interesting. I feel it had been so long that I think she was trying to see how to really communicate with me. I know I could see it in her face, like, oh, this is not the same person, like she really cares about herself now, right? I didn't care about myself at all in the past, so it was easy for me to be walked over, you
Mm-hmm.
know, to be judged, to be manipulated, right? I can no longer be manipulated. And so I feel because I stand so strong in my power now, she no longer really will point any finger on me and say, like, oh, you look this way. Oh, like, I
See,
noticed you
so
lost
maybe
some.
you were kind of creating that before then and how you were being in your space. So maybe if we're attracting that type of energy from somebody, maybe we need more self-love and to look at kind of how we're being if we're not happy with what we're getting from other people, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the past, she was very quick to look at me and say, "Oh, you look like you've lost some weight. You look better." Or, "Oh, you look like you've gained some weight. Like maybe you should start doing something." Right? So it was always like there was attention on my physical appearance. And I never liked that, you know. It always felt like if I didn't look a certain way, it almost reflected her,
Hmm.
right? Like she wanted her children to look a certain way, for her own vanity or something, right? So it always made me uncomfortable when she would speak something about my appearance. So I like that now she doesn't really say much. She doesn't say much, but I can feel it. I can see it on her face. I can feel it. And it's nothing bad. It's
Hmm.
nothing bad because I have all the energy in the world. I'm literally glowing. I'm radiating. I look youthful, right?
Hmm.
I used to be so stressed. I could see it in my face. It looked like my face was dragging down, like deteriorating, like an aged person, right? And it's taken some time for, my skin and everything to snap back to my natural state, but I'm just grateful. You just have to trust the process, right? And you have to allow the body to have as much time as it needs. You have to have patience. You have to have patience with yourself. You have to have patience if there are hiccups along the way. Um, yeah, acceptance of self and the whole totality of what you go through along the way.
Yeah, and I don't think I can't remember if we said at the beginning, but for anybody who doesn't know, like you lost all this weight and totally changed your life essentially through mostly eating fruit, right? Through a mostly fruit diet.
Yeah, so I counted the days, Jillian, for the first year of being on all fruits. I've been on fruits for about a year and a half now. But the first year, there's 365 days in a year. I fasted for about 344 days of that year through extended mono eating, through water fasting, through dry fasting, which I'm not recommending to anyone, and then juice fasting. So all of that added up together was almost a full year. And I actually recently just did a 33-day juice fast during the summer. And that was my
Ah,
first. It was good.
it
It
was
was
good.
amazing. And you would think for someone who's mono eating so often and fasting so much that I wouldn't have much built up waste inside of me, right? No, I was having bowel movements every single day up until the day 33.
Hmm.
I was seeing so much mucus coming out. I did a parasite detox, along the way too, and I saw parasites coming out.
Hmm.
So it runs so deep into our body.
And
When
especially after how many years of eating unwell, right? How old are you? I can't remember.
I'm 24.
Yeah, 24. So you ate, see, and how amazing to find this path so young, right? Like that's incredible. Like you have your whole life ahead of you, you know? But all
Mhm.
those couple decades or whatever it was, eating really unwell. And then it's not just like going to be like you eat some fruit or do a cleanse and you have a whole new body in like 1 month, right? It does take time, like, because what we eat feeds our cells, it builds our body, builds our life. So yeah, it takes some time to really truly change, I think.
Well, we're built on wanting this like quick fix,
Hmm.
this quick gratification, right? We build up this disease, this illness for years, for decades, and then we get mad at the fruits. We get mad that we have to fast for maybe 30, 60, 90 days to completely relieve ourselves from these blockages, from what's harming the body. Are we that selfish? Like, that's really sad. And I've come into a state of gratitude that the Creator has even given us the opportunity to eat something while we heal. What
Hmm.
if we were created to where we have to abstain from eating and drinking completely to heal for like a year or longer? Imagine if that was the case. But the Creator was like, you know what? I'm going to let them have some pleasure through eating. You get to eat your way to health. What a
Mhm.
beautiful gift that is. And fruit is amazing. Once you adjust your gut, once you get the parasites out, your taste buds change like every
Mhm.
10 days.
That's what
You're
people have to realize because I think once they start, they're like, oh, like they just miss the other foods and they don't think that those cravings or they don't think they'll ever enjoy it and they just think it's a miserable life, right?
Yeah, well, like earlier when we were saying the only thing you gain is built up waste, right? Well, the only thing you lose from going into a raw lifestyle, fruit-based lifestyle, and even fasting, the only thing you lose is your addiction.
Hmm.
And that's not even a loss, that's a gain, right? So it's all working out in your favor. You just have to
Hmm.
push through and get past the cravings. It does not take that long. It really doesn't, but you have to really want it. You know, people ask how. It's a choice. It's a choice. And once you start feeling so good, like you've tapped into just the best feelings you could ever receive, you wouldn't want to strip away that joy from your life. I feel if I were to go back, I'm removing my happiness. I'm telling myself I don't love myself or something. Like what's really going on deeper, underneath all of this that I have to stray away from fruits. People think you're restricting, but there's like 12,000 different varieties of apples alone. It doesn't make
Yeah.
it
No,
doesn't
that's a
make
thing. They think it's restricting, but really, when you're eating standard American diet, usually you're eating the same types of things. And then when you come into this world, yeah, you realize there's like 12,000 types of apples. There's like 50 different types of this food. There's like so many different types of herbs and this fruit and this vegetable and this nut and this seed. Like it's exciting. It's amazing. Even I've been living raw for 8 years and I still love all the delicious new things I find. So it's great.
and it's so fun, right? We're tapping
Mhm.
back into that innocence of our childlike playfulness as well. And what are children gravitated towards? Colors, right?
Mhm.
Smells, the textures. And this life gives so much color and vibrancy to our lives. When you eat dead food, when you eat the flesh of dead animals, it looks gray, it looks decaying. You're eating death,
It's
right?
gross.
To
Yeah.
take
Yeah,
a
you're
very
eating death. It's like I when I interviewed Lou Corona, he's like, you can't expect to eat death and then live like a long, prosperous, healthy life. Like, you know what I mean? To live a long, healthy life where you feel alive and amazing when you're eating dead food.
No, and you take like say you take two carrots, right? One carrot is raw, has not been
Yeah.
modified in any way. You take a cooked carrot and you place them both back into the ground. What's going to happen? That cooked carrot is going to die.
Hmm.
It's going to rot into the ground. The raw carrot that hasn't even been messed with is just going to thrive and grow even bigger. So the real raw life-giving fruit and vegetables is what's going to bring you life.
Hmm.
That's
Living
why I
food
say,
gives you life. Dead food gives you death, really, essentially, really. Like that's
yeah,
just the bottom line.
yeah. I mean, do we want to eat our way to death or do we want to eat our way to life? And I choose life all the way. But again, I'm not here to judge anyone if they choose to eat to go, on the path to decay. Honestly, that's their choice. And
Hmm.
I'll love them through it and I'll be the example and I'm not here to change anybody. But I just want everyone to feel the best. That's just really it.
Yeah, and how has your life changed as a whole from changing your health habits? Like I know lots of people have big like our lives change, right? I don't think I asked you this. Like all around us, like because you've had a huge inner transformation, has everything around you changed too? Like,
Mm.
that tends to happen. So what has happened as a result of how you changing how you eat and take care of yourself?
Yeah, our outer world really changes when we dive deep into our inner world and heal everything on the inside. And it's always going to be an old unfolding process. We can always attract even greater. We limit ourselves. It comes with feeling worthy, right? And so the more I step into my worthiness of self, I'm seeing that, reflecting back into me and my daily life. So I'm out traveling now. Like I'm in Arizona. I've always dreamed to just see the the planet. I want to see Mother Gaia and everything she is here to show, right? I was placed in such stillness for like the majority of my healing. I was forced to sit down and just self-reflect and be still with myself and go within and do some really hard, deep inner work for a really long time. But I'm seeing all of this playing out and being rewarded, back into me. And I'm just really grateful. I wrote an herbal book during my juice fast. I was off social media for a while.
Yeah, you left for a while. How did that feel? Was that good?
It was good. Again, we kind of hit these waves of like deeper self-reflection, and I had gone through an experience with, I guess, teaming up with some people, and I got to see that I still had some people-pleasing tendencies within me. And it was really hard to face that, but I hold accountability for that. And I was willing to do anything I could to eradicate that from my life because, again, it doesn't serve me or anyone around me. And it's not that I did anything wrong, right? It's just I felt like I needed to protect myself. And so now I don't let anyone overstep me. I speak my voice. I am who I am. I accept myself for the totality of who I am. And yeah, I mean, that's bringing me so much in this life too. Like I made some herbal tinctures, I'm just confident in what I know and what I'm here to give. And it's so much. It's not just one thing. We're multidimensional beings. I don't want to label myself down to just, oh, I know herbs. No, I know herbs, I know fruits, I can help assist you heal the body, right? The body heals. I don't heal the body, but I can help educate you. I can help you navigate the mind, right? I can help you tap into your inner child, right? I will hold your hand and I can give you love, right? So there's so many things I'm here to do, and I'm just so happy that I'm placed in a vessel now that has such ease and comfortability, so I can stretch myself out and do all the things that I'm here to serve and do for everyone. Because again, it's not limited to one thing, it's so many things. And I'm hoping eventually, though, it does lead me into the tropics.
Yeah, I think for sure that's probably where you're headed, and I feel like you've learned so much in your journey, right? And I love asking people this, like, what comes to mind when I ask you, like, what are the three greatest things you've learned about health? Like, if you had a legacy to leave behind in a notebook of like the three top things about health that you've learned or life, like, what would you say those things are?
Mm, that's a good question. I mean, again, it goes back to we are what we consume. And whether that be eating, whether that be what we're thinking, whether that be who we're surrounding ourselves with, what environments we're in, that's who we become. And so we got to choose wisely with where we place ourselves, what we do, what we eat, what we think. It's not just jumping into food and just hoping you become healthy. Because until I got my mind right, this body, I don't feel like it was really healing to the capacity of what it could. And once I started healing all of those emotional wounds, I started seeing the body progressing so much more. So I feel like it would be like you asked for the top three, but that's really like a lot, in one, in a sense, right? You are who you surround yourself with. You are what you eat. It's just that's like three, four, five things.
Mm-hmm. So
And it
true.
and love, just love yourself. Care about yourself. Don't ever let what anyone said to you or judged you for create you. You are the creator. They aren't. So why take their words for true? You know, I feel the divine. It came to experience through us to have a 3D visual, physical experience. And the universe, the divine, the creator loves us so much, right? It loves us so unconditionally much. All I could do to repay almost and give back into the creator is to experience this life to the fullest.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do everything I can with joy to I want to say like pay back my gratitude. That's just what the creator wants to do. It wants to live amazingly through each and every single one of us. But
Hmm.
again, it's tapping into your worthiness. And you are worthy because you are an extension of the creator. Like, period, you know?
And what if someone's watching and they're like not feeling worthy and they're feeling toxic and they don't have good relationships, they don't have good thoughts, they're not eating clean, but they just feel like they don't even know where to start. How can they get control? How can they be more like you? What advice would you give them?
Well, like you said, they're not eating clean. They don't have, supporting, encouraging people around them. I mean, you can start one thing at a time. Start eating cleaner. You don't have to jump all in, but transition at least. Start seeing how your mind clears up as you start clearing up your diet, right? Start stepping into the truth of who you are, your authenticity, and people will shed away, and that's going to hurt. But at least now you know you're creating space for good to come in, right? And then once you start seeing that like happening all around you, you start realizing, oh, I am worthy of these things. And I've always been worthy of these things. Worthiness, joy, peace, love, happiness, it is our birthright to feel these things. When we're born, right? You look at a baby and they're complete, right?
Hmm.
And but yet we go through like the experience of life. We get older and we let these programmings, these conditionings, we let the projections of others wear us down. We take them on as truth. So we have to step back into the truth that we are perfectly whole. We are designed with the worthiness. So it's not really about receiving it. It's about shedding the illusions that blind us from seeing what is already there. So,
Wow, amazing.
yeah.
And
I know.
okay, if somebody's asking what you eat in a day or like how your health journey has changed through all of this, anything you want to share on that?
Yeah. So it's definitely a transition. I wouldn't want someone to jump into this lifestyle and start eating the way I am because again, I don't eat that much anymore, but it's because my body is fully absorbing my minerals now. I'm not malabsorbed, so I don't have to eat to equate, to receiving as many minerals as I might need from jumping from the SAD diet, right? Because I've cleaned this body up, I can maybe eat a little bowl of grapes for the day, like once a day, and then I'll drink juice throughout the day. Maybe like half a gallon to a gallon of juice. It depends. Or I'll drink some Mountain Valley spring water throughout the day.
Hmm.
But I'm on day two of just a little bit of juice and it feels great. I just listen to the body. I no longer set really goals anymore for myself. When I first started, it was necessary because it helped me feel accountable. It helped me have discipline to say, okay, I really want to reach a state of health. So going like 104 days on grapes for me was needed. You know, I had never started something and finished that project in the past. That was something I always struggled with. This was one thing I was finally able to show up for. And I was like, this is for me. This is my health. Why
Hmm.
would I not want to finish this project? Right. And so when I finished it, I was so proud. I didn't want to stop. I wanted to keep starting projects and finishing them. So I kept entering like these, extended mono eating and it felt good. It felt nice, but I started really tuning into the body even more and realizing, okay, like I'm 70 days in on watermelon. My body kind of wants to eat other fruit. That's okay.
Hmm.
I've done enough work. I've done enough work, right?
Yeah, and talk about discipline, right?
Yeah, discipline, but it's devotion, right? Like I'm devoted to my health.
Hmm.
I don't feel that it's forced. Because when you really want to be healthy, you're just gonna do it. I don't want to be a patient for the rest of my life not being cured because they're not gonna cure you. They cure you, they don't have money going into their pockets anymore.
Hmm.
Right? And I'm not about to be another, I don't want to say blind sheep, but that's really what it is. And I'm not judging anybody. It's really disheartening that we've all been blind to the truth. But once you come to the truth, you can't unsee it.
Hmm.
And it almost seems so simple and just it's common sense at that point. it can be difficult sometimes. It's like, oh, you just want to shake people and be like, just see this, just see it, just feel it, you know? But again, it's the parasites like running their body. They don't want them to know the truth. They want the
Hmm.
pizza. They,
I know.
they want
It's
the
true.
toxic. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So,
it's just a toxic life when you eat toxic food, you know?
mm,
It is. And do you
it
see
is.
yourself doing it long term? Like, do you, because some people think, oh, this is great for the detox, you lost the weight, you had a cleanse, but this isn't sustainable long term. Do you think that this type of lifestyle can work long term? And what are your, like, what do you envision for how you're going to make it work long term?
If it wasn't sustainable, why would my body be rebuilding in a really healthy
True.
state on just fruits, right? I feel what our body really needs is the minerals. It doesn't necessarily need to digest anything because digestion is very taxing. Like people have gone like over a year on juicing and they say they could have just kept going,
No, I
right?
know. And they're just like, yeah, I feel great. I could keep going. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I don't see an end. This lifestyle has it almost feels like completion for my life, right? I would never want to set myself back and even go into cooked vegan. I'm not gonna say that's never like gonna happen if I had a raw vegan meal. I'm not completely restricting or on myself, you know, I'm not strict, I'm not, you know, I just do what feels good. I listen to the body. I understand right now it says it wants avocado, or right now it wants to juice. Right
Hmm.
now it may just want water, right? But we have to get out of this and we have to tap into our heart. We have to tap into what, you know, is being communicating to us. And what I am being told is that this is right for me. If it wasn't right for me, I would look horrible. I feel I would
Yeah,
look.
you've had a huge glow up. Like,
Yeah, if this wasn't right for me, I wouldn't wake up every day and have the highest of energy, right? I'm on like go mode 24/7. Like I could sleep for only 2 hours, wake up and just completely thrive throughout the day,
yeah,
right?
and have all the energy, and that's what matters most. And you probably wake up because you've had such a glow up, you probably wake up and get DMs from a lot of guys hitting on you, I'm guessing. And so I'm wondering, like, because I'm always curious, living this lifestyle that's so different from the rest of the world still, unfortunately, would you only date somebody who's living this lifestyle? Do they have to be in alignment with this lifestyle or no?
You know, at first I thought so. And I know this is really controversial, what I'm about to say, but no. I don't have a preference, and it's because I actually have had situations with people who eat only fruit and their heart isn't right. There's still a lot of baggages, there's still a lot of projections being placed onto the other person. And I got to witness this. You know, I got to witness that there was a struggle of being able to truly give love, real connection, right? I've met people who are in the sad diet, honestly. Not, I don't know if I wouldn't prefer someone in the sad diet. I would love if they're at least raw, you
Hmm.
know? But I've met people who eat cooked foods and they have a heart of gold. They truly seem happy in life. They serve people and they love it, right? But I've been able to witness this. I feel not a lot of people see this. Like they don't come across someone who eats cooked foods and have a genuine, pure heart, you know, because they're so backed up and that reflects. But I've
Hmm.
actually been able to have connections with people who are just a pure soul and light in this world. And I'm able to discern that, right? Now, physically, though, if I were to be intimate with someone, I wouldn't want it to be, you know, with someone who's eating like meat or anything.
Hmm.
I don't feel that that's sanitary for my clean body,
No,
you
I
know?
know, I get that, you know?
Yeah. But it really has to do with the heart. It really has to do with the heart. But if
Yeah, we
I,
all have to tap in and follow our heart and listen to our gut. So what if like we're having a hard time tuning into that and tuning into God and our heart and which path is best to take? Like, what do you think we should do?
well, we're always being spoken to, and it's a choice to listen, right? And I choose to listen. And what I do know is if your gut is a wreck, your intuition is begging you to clean it up. It is. And we're refusing to look at that and to feel into that and to hear it because we want to stay in the addiction.
Mm.
That's just what it is. If you feel you're disconnected to spirit, I mean, you're disconnecting yourself, right? You're choosing to be disconnected. I don't feel we're actually ever disconnected. We're just refusing to listen.
Hmm.
Mm.
Wow. And okay, knowing what you know now, if you were to start over in your health journey, is there anything you would do different?
I feel it's all served such a high purpose in my journey, every part of it. I have thought a few times if I were to go back, maybe I would have transitioned a bit slower because I did kind of just jump into a really long, like mono grape fast. I was eating all raw for about a month and then I jumped in. So that was pretty quick, but I gained so much from that experience. That transformed me the most,
Hmm.
physically, mentally, spiritually. I wasn't even watching videos on like these gurus, right? To learn about the wisdom and the truth of life, right? I wasn't watching videos, I wasn't reading books, none of that. I was able to sit outside, meditate, and receive these like downloads, these messages from the divine, giving me all the keys, all the wisdom to life and the truth of life. It just flowed through me because we have all the full truth inside of ourselves. If we sit and listen and remove the blockages, right? Because I feel it's this co-creation, this co-relationship that we have with the divine that the creator wants to trust us, right? Like we have to put trust into the creator. But how could the creator trust you if you don't trust it? Right? So you have to free fall and have that faith. Faith is key.
Just
And
like your
faith,
name.
my
You have the
name,
perfect name.
it's really relevant to my journey.
Mm.
Faith is the biggest thing. If you can't trust the journey, if you then I don't know what to tell you because our belief system creates.
Wow, you're so well spoken, Faith. You're such a good speaker. And that was your birth name, right? Faith. You didn't change your name, right? Is that your
I
birth
changed
name? Oh, you did
my
change it. I couldn't
my
remember.
name my name was Courtney Faith
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Green. Yeah, my name was Courtney Faith Green, and I legally changed my name to Faith Duriana. So my last name is a fruit, my favorite
I
fruit.
love it. My last name is a fruit too, Berry. And people think that I just changed it, but no, my dad is Robert Berry. I was born Berry. I know, isn't that funny? Yeah. My
That
parents met at a sugar factory, and my dad's last name at Cane Sugar Factory, and his name is Berry. And it's funny, he was saying last night, he's like, I think it was just meant to be, Jillian, like your name, right? It's like, I'm like, I
it it
know.
it is meant to be. It
I
was
know it's
such an
weird. Yeah, so I got
alignment.
married in 2005 and then my name was Alcorn. So then when we separated in 2019 for a few years, I went back to Berry because I was like, how can I not? I'm a raw vegan. What am I doing with Alcorn? There was still a food in there, but I don't need a GMO food in my name, right? So I got rid of Alcorn and I took on Berry. But I was gonna ask you too, like what did you eat in a day before? I can't remember. Like what was a typical day before you got healthy?
I'm about to get really down and dirty here because if I were to explain like my binging process, um, it's pretty nasty, but it was an everyday occurrence for me. It was a part of my diet, the binging.
Hmm.
So when I was ravaging through my cabinets, I would like grab a tortilla. I would stuff cheese in the tortilla and warm that up. And then I would put like these pepperoni slices in it. I'd put a pickle. I'd put chips. I would dip it in peanut butter. I would grab everything, Jillian, and treat this body like a straight dumpster, right? There was no instinctive stop inside of my body at that point. It was just eat, 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 and eat, and eat. Like I had no signal in the body telling me I'm full. There was no pain. It was just
Wow.
this endless stream of junk, right? Like there was so many voids I was trying to fill inside this body that I was refusing and running and not wanting to look at. So that's why I was able to just step so much. I didn't know. Like I didn't know how to process my emotions. That's the best I could do in that moment, right? Um, but that was just like an appetizer. All while I was binging, I'm thinking about what I would eat for dinner, right? So what was for dinner? I don't know, maybe sushi, right? I would eat like a lot of sushi. If I was having a bad day, I noticed if I was like stressed, I'd get Chinese food. Like our emotions want certain foods.
Hmm.
So, like, you know how when they say you have a breakup, you're sad, you want to eat the sweets, like ice cream, cookies, cake, all
Hmm.
of that. When I was angry, I wanted Chinese. So it was just unhealthy. It was just the standard American diet, right?
Hmm.
And so now eating so light, I mean, I don't have cravings. Jillian, if I crave something, I'm craving avocado. I'm just craving durian. I'm craving just maybe like a denser fruit.
Yeah.
What a transition of craving, right? Because when I'm eating these things now too, it's not, I could never suppress. And I found myself in moments where I was feeling high emotions. I was maybe feeling high stress, and I really wanted to fill a void. So I would eat like dense avocado, right? But what I noticed with fruits, even when you're trying to run from emotions, you can't suppress with fruits. It like brings it up to surface even more for me. It
Hmm.
does not allow me to do that. So it's
Hmm.
really painful. It's really uncomfortable. But I love myself enough to be like, hey, you know what? Like this doesn't serve me if I hold on to this. I need to stop. This does not feel good. This does not feed the soul. I'm not even feeding or fueling myself right now.
Hmm.
I'm trying to hide from something. So it's really about, stopping yourself from running from yourself.
Yeah, essentially, it's just the greatest form of self-respect when you choose to eat foods that your body was meant to eat, that nourish it and make it happy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy. Happy. That's the key, right?
Hmm. Well, this has been amazing. I love having you on. Is there anything else that you feel like you feel called to share about your journey or you want to share with the audience? Anything that feels right? And let everybody know where they can find you. If you have ebooks, whatever you have, let us know.
Well, I just want to thank you again for having me on, but I just want everyone to realize their worthiness. I want everyone to realize their birthright of being healthy, of having the vitality, of eradicating all disease, right? They're deserving of all these things. And they deserve to have love in their lives. They're deserving to feel love for themselves, right? And so I just want to pour into each and every one of you. I want to hold that example and let people know that it's possible, right? That's really what it is. And if anyone ever has any questions, they can always reach out to me. I have an herbal book that will be released soon. So whenever this video comes out, it should be available. It's Dive into the Nature of Herbs, the Healing Nature of Herbs, simplified just for you, because herbal books can be very complicating and confusing. I don't know if you've ever
Yeah,
opened one
I
before.
agree. Yeah.
There's like hundreds and thousands of herbs, and it's like, where do I start?
Yeah, it's
Right?
too overwhelming. Then you almost just don't get involved at all because you're like, this is just too much.
Exactly. So I was able to kind of narrow it down to liver herbs, the blood cleansing herbs, cancer herbs, lymphatic herbs, kidney herbs, and then just kind of list a handful of those underneath so that people can kind of get a guide and see what would work for them, right? And then the
Mhm.
last chapter shows how you actually can heal with herbs. So I'm excited to serve the people in that way and just let the unfolding of my life to continue to unfold in whatever way it needs to, right? I'm just here to experience. I'm just here for the ride.
Yeah, what a
So,
beautiful path. What a good ride you've had. I can't wait to see what's next. We always love to
yeah,
have you on. You're always elevating further and further and just growing. And you're such a motivational speaker, such an inspiring speaker. And I'm sure you've inspired so many people out there today. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for being you. And just congratulations on your journey. I'm so happy for you. You know, you've healed yourself, so you've healed the relationships around you. I'm sure if you were still standard American diet, you probably wouldn't have mended the relationship with your mother, with other people. So it's such a beautiful, positive path you're on. And I just can't wait to see what's in store. So I'm really excited about that. And just thank you again for coming on. And to everybody watching, I hope you got some inspiration. Be sure to subscribe. We love having Faith on. She'll definitely be back in the future. I'll put one of the podcasts I did with her before, one of my favorites, on the screen right now if you guys want to watch more, because Faith is just amazing. I know you guys love her so much, and so do I. And yeah, be sure to subscribe, and I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.